is John Green, and I read Paper Towns, and so here are the questions that we have to do. So the plot of the book of Paper Towns, and spoiler alert to whoever wants to read it, Quentin is in love with a young, popular girl who happens to live across the street from him, named Margot. When she goes missing, it is up to Quentin to find her. After several days of hunting down the clues that she left for him, he goes on a road trip with friends. He finds her and they both confess their love. However, she feels that she has to be free and they part ways. Number 2, who are the main characters? Quentin is the main character as well as Margot. Some of the secondary characters are their friends, Ben, Radar, and Lacey. The main conflict was when Margot goes missing. The climax of the story is when Quentin thinks that he has found Margot. Then Ben, Radar, Lacey, and Quentin all go on a road trip together to try to find her. The resolution is when Quentin finds Margot unharmed and alive. Sadly, the resolution also includes them parting ways. The point of view, John Green writes a lot of books, first-person point of view, so you get to see this story through Quentin's eyes. I really liked the characters and how they expressed themselves in a very real way, like how Quentin talks about leaving his old high school and how he talks about how hard it was, and then how as soon as he left it felt so easy and he felt so relieved. Yet I didn't really like how the book really went on and on. They actually had a chapter for each hour that they were in the car, and it was like a 23-hour car ride. So it kind of got a little repetitive. Some of the chapters just said, I sleep. So he definitely carried on. And then number 8, we all agreed on a consensus with this, is John Green writes books often using the first-person point of view, and he also has characters who are in love or they're going through major changes in their lives, and they have to deal with very adult problems. And yeah, and he writes a lot about love and loss.
Hi, I'm Ali. I read the book An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. This book is about a boy named Colin who just graduated from high school, and he and his friend Hassan go to like a road trip because he just like broke up with his girlfriend and they need to like search for adventure. And Colin is determined to complete a theorem that determines how long like a relationship will last and who will dump who. They find themselves in a gas station where they meet Lindsay, and after getting to know her family, Lindsay's mom offers them a job and a place to stay so they can gain some experience. And Lindsay and spoiler alert, Lindsay and Colin end up falling in love. The main characters of the story are Colin, Hassan, and Lindsay. The conflict, what started all was that Colin always falls in love with Catherines, and he just got dumped by one, so he's like, he needs to search for meaning. The climax of the story is that Colin desperately needs to find a way to make his theorem work. That's like his whole meaning in life, that moment. And also another climax is that Hassan has a girlfriend and Lindsay has a boyfriend, and they find them together. So this, like, it becomes really sad for them. The resolution of the story is that Colin uses his theorem to see when Lindsay and him are going to break up, and he realizes that his theorem says that they're going to break up in like 4 days, so he's like devastated. But then he realizes that that doesn't happen because it only works on couples that have already broken up. And then this story is told in a third point of view. And in the novel, I like that it wasn't like any other story I read. Like, it wasn't a typical story it was different, and I like that. And you couldn't expect what was happening, and it wasn't exactly like a cliche, you know. And I didn't like it that it didn't make me cry, because I think like really good stories should make you like feel like a lot of emotion, like you cry and you're really happy, and I didn't like that. It didn't make me cry.
So we read The Fault in Our Stars, and this story is about a girl named Hazel Praise that has cancer in her lungs. Hazel met Augustus Waters are getting a year older than her in the cancer support group. They fall in love and are inseparable before the story ends. The main characters are Hazel Grace and Augustus Waters. The main conflict of the story is that Hazel falls in love with Augustus.
Anything goes well in Amsterdam. Hazel finds out that Augustus has cancer all over his body. The resolution is that Augustus dies, but he wrote a letter to Hazel before he died. It's a first person point of view. Hazel. I like that the novel was different from other novels. I've never heard any novel like this one. John's idea of making them with cancer and fall in love is really interesting and different. It's a sick love story.
John Michael Green was born August 24th, 1977 in Indianapolis, Indiana. He graduated from Kenyon College in 2000 with a major in English and religious studies. This helped him a lot in the future because at school they taught him a lot how to write and all that, and he became a writer. After this, he was going to become an Episcopal priest, but then he decided not to. This shows how he has like a he's really interested in life and what happens after you die and all that. John Green has written 4 books: Looking for Alaska in 2005, An Abundance of Cathays in 2006, Paper Towns in 2008, and The Fault in Our Stars in 2012. And he has also collaborated in 2 books, Will Grayson in 2010 and Let It Snow in 2008. A lot of experiences in life have helped him write these books. For example, like the school in Looking for Alaska was inspired it's almost identical as the high school he went to. And in The Fault in Our Stars, he was inspired because he worked in a hospital, and that really inspired him to write about sick people with cancer.
Okay. In this review from The Guardian, it says that John Green writes from young adults, but it appeals all their audiences too. They say that John Green writes magnificently because the reviewer has read many sad books, but The Fault in Our Stars is the first one that made him cry. It also says that the book clearly represents how teenagers would act these days. That is something that few authors manage to do these days. The review clearly stated that Green has the ability to create characters with a voice that will touch the reader. They can become your best friend, someone you start to love and care for.
New York Times review said that The Fault in Our Stars, Paper Town, and Looking for Alaska have a signature tone. They were sweet, physiological, and funny. No matter what, there's love. It shows The Fault in Our Stars, basically. Hazel has her tan and Goose has a prosthetic leg. Isa gets blind. This book really shows true love. 2 teenagers. What? 2 teenagers helping and accepting each other through the most humiliating physical and emotional ordeals. It's far more romantic than any sunset on the beach. Hazel and Goose often remind each other the world is not a wish-granting factory. Nevertheless, a forever within the number of days can be found, and as Hazel shows us, maybe that's all we can ask for. New York Times said.
And then I did the interview portion. This interview with John Green, he answered many questions, and I just kind of organized it into 3 categories: religion, personal heroes, and his fans. A heads up, this interview was written, it was meant to kind of talk about the release of Fault in Our Stars movie, but they have some other topics in there. So he talked about religion, and as you may or may not know, John Green was a minister, and this is what he said about his religion. Death and sadness was a real issue I had to deal with. It really changed my outlook on life. Seeing the sick children really made me second guess my life choices, and I fell into a depression. I'm still religious to some degree, but but now I study other religions as well. In 1999, I studied the dialogue between the Christian and Islamic people. For his personal heroes, John Green said, "I don't think good heroes are the reality show divas such as Kardashians or Snooki. As heroes a hero should be relatable and somebody that you could look up to in your everyday life." He also talks a lot about his fans. As a successful author, John Green has a lot of fans, and here's what he had to say about them. "I really love my fans, but I'm always worried about disappointing them. There's so many opinions worldwide, I wish I could call everyone to hear what they had to say. I write about really deep topics, so I'm really concerned about what they would think. When I wrote The Fault in Our Stars, I was worried what kids with cancer would think of a healthy adult male writing about a sick female child. I was amazed when they told me that they liked it. I really target my books to teens because when I was 13, I loved sad books. However, I love that adults can also enjoy my books. And if you want to hear the full interview, go to www.goodreads.com.